What does riding in a $263,000 plus luxury vehicle with executive rear seats feel like? Well, that's what I'm going to show you today. A vehicle of this caliber and this level of luxury isn't for everyone. People that buy something like this are not only rich, they are wealthy. They don't drive, they are driven. They sit in the back with their seats reclined, using the table to get some work done or have a meal, all while getting a massage. I'm not one of those people because 1, I like to drive, and 2, I'm obviously not that rich because my YouTube channel is still pretty young, but maybe one day I'll be driven. And then I'll have to change my name from Omar Drives to Omar Driven, which would be weird. Either way, my name is Omar and this is the 2023 Range Rover SV. By the way, I have yet to witness anyone riding in the back of these insanely luxurious vehicles while their driver drives them around. I'm sure it happens, I just haven't witnessed it yet. So, this is the all-new Range Rover. It's been slightly redesigned on the outside and has a completely updated interior. It's available as a mild hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, or a twin-turbo V8 setup, and there's an all-electric Range Rover coming in 2024. It's available in 2 sizes, including a standard wheelbase, a long wheelbase, and you also have a variety of trims and configurations, including a 5-seater, a 4-seater, and for the first time ever, you can get a Range Rover with a 3rd row and 7 seats. The model that I'm testing here is the top-of-the-line SV with 4 seats, and this is the best and most luxurious a Range Rover gets, and it better be because it's pretty expensive. The base Range Rover SE now starts at $104,500, but the SV that I'm testing here starts at $193,100 for the standard wheelbase and $218,300 for the long wheelbase. And with a few options, the long wheelbase SV with 4 seats that I'm driving here carries a final price tag of over $263,000. Yes, this is more expensive than the Bentley Bentayga, the Lamborghini Urus, and the Maybach GLS. In fact, the only SUV that I can think of that's more expensive than this is the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. So, is it worth the money? Let's find out. Of course, that question only pertains to a few of you watching right now, so don't worry. We'll also talk about how the lesser expensive Range Rovers are as well. But yeah, let me start off by giving you a tour of this thing, and then I'll give you my opinion on if you should buy the new Range Rover or this crazy, insanely luxurious SV model. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe so I can start sitting in the back. All right, let's do this. All right, so let's get into it because there are a lot of cool and interesting features to check out in the new Range Rover. That said, let's get into it, starting off with the second row where my test model has the most expensive package, and that would be the $19,740 SV Signature Suite with Executive Class Comfort Plus Rear Seats package. That's a long name. But yeah, just the rear seat package in my test model cost as much as a new car. So once you hop into the second row, you're working with a total of 48 inches of legroom, but that is totally irrelevant because things get a little fancy and theatrical back here. Let's start with this 8-inch touchscreen display in the middle because everything is essentially controlled through here. Hop into the seat settings and of course you have heated and cooled seats back here. That should be expected at this price tag. Of course, you would also expect massaging seats, and you have those. However, these massaging seats are actually really good. They really work well, and they're pretty customizable with 5 different massage types and 5 massage directions. Now hop into adjust, and that's where things get very interesting. Now, in most executive rear seat cars, you have to hit a button to move the front passenger seat out of the way. Here in the Range Rover SV, all you do is hit recline and the front passenger seat moves out of the way automatically. And then the rear seat that you're sitting in reclines as far back as it goes. A footrest folds out from the bottom of the passenger seat. That's pretty cool. And you'll have an ottoman that pops out from the bottom. So now you're living in the lap of Range Rover SV luxury. And yeah, it's crazy comfortable back here. And you can also continue to adjust the footrest and the ottoman up and down until you find the most comfortable position for you. But yeah, at over $19,000, this is very expensive. Yes, it's comfortable, but this is for the elite, the CEO, the businessman that continues to work constantly, even when they're sitting in the backseat of a car while their driver drives them around. But it gets much better and classier. You see this button right here on the touchscreen? Click it and a table rises in the most Star Wars theatrical way possible from this fixed center console. And then you can pull it back, fold it over, and get some work done or have your lunch or dinner. By the way, at nighttime, this area looks especially cool because the table has ambient lighting underneath it. Not to mention, you also have a small storage area underneath the table as well. But yeah, when you're done working or eating, you just push that button again and the table retracts in a nice and gentle manner. That's very cool. Now, right behind that table, you have another area that's covered up with a lid that seems like it does something interesting. Well, click this cup-shaped button right here on the touchscreen and the lid pops back and two cup holders rise up again in a very theatrical manner. Click the cup-shaped button again and the cup holders retract and the lid automatically closes. That's crazy, but I think it's a little bit overkill. By the way, on my test model, all of this area is covered in a nice SV white ceramic trim and a mosaic pattern, and it feels especially luxurious. And you also have another ceramic area right here behind the whole fixed center console. Well, click this fridge button right here and click open, and the ceramic covering retracts to reveal a fridge with a section for a champagne bottle and two champagne glass holders. But yeah, this actually comes with two SV crystal glasses that were taken out of my test model so people don't steal them. So yeah, it's pretty luxurious back here. Now, other things that you can do with this touchscreen is control the climate. You can control the ambient lighting, and it looks very nice in here. You can control the task lighting if you want to get some work done at nighttime, and you can open and close the sunblind roof on the top. If there's too much sun, close it up. And you can also turn on and off your rear entertainment screen. Speaking of which, you have two 11.4-inch rear entertainment screens in the back here with two HDMI ports to enjoy whatever content you want to watch, or if you want to hook up your PlayStation 5 or Xbox and game, you can do that as well. And then finally, to take comfort to the next level, you also have this little SV branded pillow here if you want to take a nap. Oh, and of course, if you want to block the sun or any haters or peasants peeking in, you have shades on each rear side window. By the way, it's worth noting that if you're insanely rich and cash out over $263,000 or so for this, your driver can control all the rear seat operations right from the infotainment system. Now, once you pop open the tailgate on the Range Rover SV, you have space to put stuff back here, like I have some stuff there. Now, usually I'll tell you how much cubic feet of space you have, but who really cares in this case? Because of course, this has something cooler called the Versatile Load Space Floor. What that means is this floor panel can be raised forward to create a partition to keep smaller items from rolling in the back so they stay within reach, but that's not the coolest part. You can also pivot this panel backwards, and when you lower the bottom part of the tailgate and take a seat, that panel acts as a backrest. So yeah, you have an actual outdoor bench seat with a backrest that you can use at your next tailgate party or your next camping adventure. Oh, and you also have some cup holders on both sides to hold your drinks. But the cargo area fun doesn't stop there. You also have a few buttons here that control something called the auto folding load space cover. Hit the button pointing to the back and this leather cover, of course it's leather, it retracts, giving you full access to the cargo area. Hit the forward button and it comes back to cover whatever it is that you want to hide. You can also raise or lower the Range Rover from back here to make loading and unloading items easier. And you can also fold down the rear right seat only because, you'll be taking this to your next IKEA trip. Right. All right, let's hop in the front of the Range Rover SV and check out what it's like being the driver because it's actually pretty much as luxurious as the back. But let's start with the tech. First up, you're working with a 13.1-inch touchscreen display that houses the Jaguar Land Rover PIVI Pro infotainment system. I've gone over this system in my Land Rover Defender review in great detail, so make sure you check that out if you have some time and want some deeper details on this. But quickly, this is an outstanding system, one of the quickest and easiest to use in the industry. Jaguar and Land Rover were known to have a pretty crappy infotainment, but this new update solves everything. You have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You also have navigation. Click this button and a bunch of apps pop up to help you with off-roading, trailering, like this 4x4 app that has weight sensing, your drive mode configurations, and much more. You also have this vehicle app with some quick shortcuts and a section where you can raise and lower your Range Rover. You have all the new driver assist tech that you can wish for, including adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. You have a ton of camera angles to mess around with, even this 3D view where you can circle around your Range Rover. You also have that whole clear sight camera view where you can see under your Range Rover and see what you're driving over, which is very, very helpful for when you're off-roading. Not to mention, this thing will actually park itself if you need help parking this giant long wheelbase Range Rover. Now, I do want to hop into the climate screen for a second. One interesting thing that I found was that to open and close the vents in the new Range Rover, you have to hop in here and do it from here. You don't open and close them from the actual vents physically. And even the rear vents are closed from the screen back there. So this is cool if you're someone like me, and probably really annoying if you like complaining about things being easier and boring. But no, yes, I get it. Closing and opening the vents physically right from the vents is much easier. The other thing that I wanted to point out is this air purification system. Now, most luxury vehicles have this, but this is one of the few that not only shows you a visual representation of what's going on inside, but it also shows you what's going on outside. So you can decide whether the air is pure where you are right now, or if it's going to be pure at whatever destination you're heading to. That's kind of cool. All right, moving on with the tech game, you also have a 13.7 digital gauge cluster display. It's also pretty sharp and very informative. You have 3 different viewing modes that you can pick from, including dials, which is the view that I have here. You also have a full screen map view, which looks really beautiful. And then you have my favorite view called Focus. This is the one that I like to keep it on. This looks very nice. Now, comfort and convenience wise in the front, again, it's really nice. You obviously have heated and cooled seats, which you can control through these dials that have multiple functions. They can control your temperature, they control your fan speed, and they also control your heated and cooled seats. You also have massaging seats up here as well, and again, they are very nice. And check this out, just like the back, you also have a fridge right here in the center armrest. And you still have the dual glove box thing that Range Rover has become known for. So yeah, you're not missing out on much being the driver of the Range Rover SV. As for overall comfort, there is no doubt that this is one of the most comfortable interiors in this price segment. There are a million different ways to adjust the seats to find your perfect seating position, and every seat has memory settings as well, and I like the way they are integrated into the actual seat controls themselves. That's pretty cool. That said, my test model here has some very unique touches since this is an SV model, and it's all a part of the SV Serenity interior package for $3,300. You basically get leather everywhere in this interior, and I'm really liking this white on sand trim here. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but the setup on my test model has sand color seats in the front. Actually, this color is called Caraway. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the rear seats are actually white, or Perlino, as Range Rover calls it. I probably butchered those 2 names. But yeah, not only does this have dual color trims all around this interior, but it also has dual colored seats. That's a really nice touch. Oh, and by the way, certain areas of this interior are covered in a satin white ceramic finish. It's all a part of a $2,640 option that gives you satin white ceramic on things like the gear shift here, the volume knob, the start and stop button, as well as your drive mode selector right here. Now let's quickly take a look at the outside of the new Range Rover, and from the front end, it looks pretty much the same as the outgoing model. However, once you look closer, you'll notice that the design is really cleaned up and looks much smoother. There are less lines and creases, and I sort of like that. The outgoing Range Rover wasn't really all that busy, but this cleaning up of the design just makes it look more elegant, and it has more of a presence. Now the rear end is where you'll notice most of the difference. You have this giant blacked out bar with the Range Rover badge. This whole area kind of looks like a bar handle mustache to me. And if you look closely, you don't see the taillights because they're actually blacked out until they are turned on. That's sort of a cool touch. Now the SV trim that I'm testing here is a bit unique, and of course, it's very expensive. This icy white paint job alone costs $12,050. You have this SV Serenity accents, which includes this bronze trim that you'll see all over, the ceramic white SV badge, and a few other touches that'll cost you an extra $1,800. The 23-inch bronze satin wheels, yes, I said 23, these are huge. They will cost you an extra $3,700. And this bronze roof on the top, that will cost you an extra $1,500. So yeah, for an extra $19,050, this looks the way this does. Now, before I tell you how the Range Rover SV drives, let me point out a few important daily ownership highlights that I'd love to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front right there, and then you have 2 in the back, just 4. The 2 in the back have a lid that's automatic. So yeah. Here are what the keys look like to the Range Rover SV. You have a nice little SV logo in the back right there, pretty cool. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. And yes, you do have soft closed doors here. Solid, very solid. Charging game wise, in the front you have a wireless charger and a USB-C port, and that's it. Rear passengers get 2 USB-C ports in the center armrest. They also have a household outlet way down there for hooking up your PlayStation 5 or Xbox back here. They also get a wireless charger with a strap. Nice. Time for an indicator and horn sound test. Indicator first. Pretty interesting. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah, that's solid. So when it comes to these insanely luxurious executive SUVs, you have a few choices, including this, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and the Maybach GLS, and honestly, the choice is yours. But I will say that this Range Rover SV that I'm driving here is an outstanding option, of course, only if you have the I like to be driven kind of money. Now, just in case you want to drive, or for the other 99% of Range Rover shoppers watching this video, let's talk about how the new Range Rover drives. The ride quality of this thing is creamy smooth. You honestly feel like you're just flying down the road. You don't feel any bumps or imperfections on the road at all. You thought a Cadillac Escalade or a Mercedes-Benz GLS were smooth. No, go drive the new Range Rover, because this is on a whole other level. There are a bunch of large, luxurious, comfortable SUVs out there, but I have to say nothing even comes close to the ride quality of this Range Rover. Not to mention, this is only one of the few luxurious SUVs that can actually do off-road SUV things without any hesitation. Of course, that's if you ever find yourself living in the lap of luxury in the desert. Now, that said, the SV that I'm driving here is only available with the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine, making 523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to one of the smoothest shifting 8-speed automatic transmissions ever. You honestly can't even tell that it's changing gears. But that said, 0 to 60 comes in at 4.5 seconds, and that's absolutely nuts because this thing weighs over 5,600 pounds. And the way the power just rolls on smoothly as you're hitting the gas, it's instant and it's quick. Now, even though this can do those numbers, this isn't a performance SUV. It does have a dynamic mode, but all Land Rover SUVs have that, along with 80 other driving modes for off-roading. But that said, you literally have all the luxury and all the power at your fingertips. What you don't have is good fuel economy. Now, this long wheelbase Range Rover with a twin-turbo V8 averages just 15 miles per gallon combined. I'm averaging, after a few days of driving, a total of 9 miles a gallon. I should probably take this out of dynamic mode, keep it in comfort, because I can't stand eco. But yeah, not only is this thing crazy expensive, but it will be crazy expensive putting gas in this thing, especially at current gas prices. Easily $100 to $150 every time you fill up. So yeah, that all-electric Range Rover can't come soon enough. But all that said, the new Range Rover is still an absolute win in my book. It has a stylish and elegant exterior design, a super luxurious interior with new tech that actually works this time. It really has all that you would expect from a world-class luxury vehicle, and it can do more with real SUV off-road capabilities. The only downside is that the fuel economy sucks, and it's pretty expensive. Even if you don't end up spending $263,000 like my test model here, the starting price tag of a new Range Rover is about a $13,000 jump over the outgoing one. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. By the way, I am gonna pop it into dynamic mode for a quick second, just so you can hear the way this thing sounds. It actually sounds pretty good. Kind of like performance SUV level. But yeah, if you can afford this thing, go for it. It's absolutely amazing.